You got us in the right place? We still in the same place? All right. Oh,
Cerise, what you trying to
Whenever
show
you're
us?
ready. Whenever you're ready, Sharice.
All right. Hello and welcome to another episode of Just Throwing It Out There, the podcast. My name is Sharice. And joining me today are my lovely co-hosts,
hi.
Melly, yes, Danny,
Hey.
and Talia.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, today we're going to be hitting up a we have a very special show. We're going
Yes.
to be talking about all things Wendy Williams, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So for this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the one and only Wendy Williams. Just this January 2021, Lifetime released both a movie and a documentary, and both were executive produced by Wendy Williams herself. The movie focused on her journey, professionally, personally, from like that perspective, right? But the documentary was like her firsthand account of her everything that she's gone through, all her trials and tribulations, never before heard truths about things that had happened to her and her childhood and her 30 years in this media world, right? Over 30 years. We felt it was good for us to talk about Wendy. A lot of people were talking about the doc and the movie when they came out, but for us, this is our time when we were growing up. So we were listening to Wendy on the radio. It's like it's a little personal for us because we recall all those infamous interviews that she had with people on the radio, and then when she got on TV, even still infamous interviews that she was still doing. So we wanted to, share our thoughts with the what we thought about the both things of the film and the doc. So here we go. What do you guys think?
I was
Yeah,
on.
so I thought what'd you say, Sharice?
I said I was on the Wendy Williams show.
I
You were. Tell us more about that, Sharice.
So
What were you doing
let's
with
talk
Wendy?
So I was on the Wendy Williams show twice, actually. So the first time I was on the Wendy Williams show, I met Wendy at a step show at Essex County College. I was in high school, but Essex County College had the high school battle of the sororities and the fraternities and do their things. And happen and it just so happens that Talia was performing in the step show.
I still have my first place trophy. We stepped
And
our patooties off that night.
yes, they
We
were
did.
very good. Who were you stepping
The
with?
Kappa Phi Cuties, right? Kappa Phi Q. I still have my jacket. Kappa Phi Cuties. Yes, we were.
Mind you,
I pledged and everything out on the Irvington High track. I was hazed. They beat me with a paddle. They did. They did. I was hazed. I think my name was Piss Face. I think that was my name.
and I never, mind you, I was not in a sorority or anything like that. I never talked to Talia.
This is prior to you guys becoming
Oh
friends.
my god, it's not.
It was it. I feel like it was prior.
Like I was like, oh man, she's like really like popular. She's like in a like a
Can you
different.
talk about the Wendy Williams, please?
So at this point she was in the show, but she was so like distant and like far,
You
like
still not talking about Wendy. She
that's
refuses to let that go. She refuses to let this go.
And it's not even true.
It's her perspective. Her perspective.
Sharice's truth.
Her right. What did they say? Her perception, and her perception is her reality.
Right. It was like, oh, that's that girl, one of the girls. That's one of those popular girls.
What was Wendy Williams doing there?
Anyway, she was hosting. She was hosting the step show.
What year was this?
Was she on like Hot 97 at the time? I think she
Yeah.
was on Hot 97.
This was like 91, 92.
And of course,
I was
she
a baby.
gives like, as part of her hosting duties, she's like, I'm gonna give away some tickets if somebody can answer these questions for me. And of course, they were music related. And I was the first person to answer these questions. And I ran up on stage And I got my tickets. I was like, hey! And it was to, I think it was Jodeci Boys to Men and MC Hammer. That was it.
That's nice.
That's a nice concert.
I think that's what it was. Jodeci Boys to Men, MC Hammer. And then so Wendy was like, so what you gonna do in order to get these tickets, you need to call in that night or whatever, the next day, and we're gonna do a little radio thing. And that's the first time that I was on the show. And and then also one of our friends, Jennifer Manny at the time.
Full government.
I know, right?
The next day, she was like, and I'd never spoken to her too, because she was like in another group, like a nerd pocket clique over here. And she was like, I heard you on the radio last night. And that's how we started our friendship. Like, I don't know how we did. I was like, oh, you did? You heard me on the radio? Okay. So that was my foray into the Wendy, although I knew Wendy Williams on the radio before. I'll tell y'all about the second time later.
But speaking of Wendy on the radio, like, what was some of like those interviews? Like, her interviews were just like so good, and like she had us like on the edge of our seats like all the time, especially like when she started getting like really good with the gossip and spilling the tea. Well, the gay rapper was a big deal,
it was
right?
a blind item. We didn't know who the gay rapper. Many times the gay rapper could have been so many different people. We don't know who it is. I won't go into the speculation, but it was the 90s, so you can imagine the plethora,
an array people,
myriad rapper. That stands out to me. The gay rapper, blind items. She always had blind items, did she not?
Yep.
The blind item would always be some type of gossip, but no one's name would actually be attached to it. But people would be losing their minds, trying
to figure it out.
What? Who could? The blind item.
And I did enjoy also Charlemagne on there when he got on
much later.
Yeah, because it was wasn't it Skeletor before, or was Skeletor? Or okay,
it was Skeletor, right?
Yeah, and then Skell went somewhere. I think when she came back from Philly, that's when Charlemagne
came. Yes,
came. So that might have been part of the deal.
There's the one that got her recognition outside of New York. That was the Whitney Houston interview.
That was
that was something, because but what I loved about it, because I went back and listened to it after the documentary, because I'm like, oh, I need to re-experience it. It was all of this like catty, but at the end of the day, it was like, you know what, I love you, Wendy. And she's like, you know, Whitney, I love you too, right? And so it was like, we're gonna beef right now, but let's just be clear, like, this isn't like beef where I'm gonna show up at the station, because there was beef when people showed up. Like, I'm not gonna show up outside. Like, I'm not gonna meet you downstairs. But just know that wasn't cool what you did. It was like, it stayed classy. And that's what I liked about Wendy, is that her interviews, like, she knew she had like this perfect way to like go in and get all in your business, but like in a diplomatic way. Like, it was always like I never felt like, you didn't feel like she was coming for the person. Like, she wasn't like mad, like rah with it. It was like, I'm just gonna ask the question.
It was very matter of fact. Very matter of fact.
The interviews were good. I think where people had a real point of contention was just talking about the person before they even got there, and taking gossip as fact. As opposed to like, well, what is the real? Because like, she is an excellent interviewer.
Yeah.
You know, and like,
but do you feel like to some degree, because I like, what I get with Wendy is like, at some point I think she really believes the rumors. Yes. Like the way that she would study the tabloids, I felt like she was like reading, like, you know, history, or like trying to get a medical degree.
Documentations.
Like, that was her specialty, but I feel like in her heart she believed it. I don't know.
Well, I think she had to
And
believe
that
to
was the
be able to
problem.
sell it, right? She was selling it.
Absolutely.
You had to be able to believe it.
That's the problem people
That's
have.
why I think it made it easy for her because she did believe it, and that's why it made her believable, right? Like she was able to deliver that gossip, and you were like, "Ooh!" 'cause
It was very entertaining.
And I
very-
think for Whitney, that was that time where like the curtain was starting to come down a little bit because that was I believe that was after the Diane Sawyer interview.
That was
Because
a rough time for me personally. Okay.
that's your girl.
that's your girl.
That's your girl. Yeah, and I feel like the Diane Sawyer interview was a big deal for Whitney. And then I feel like we had the Wendy interview after, right? And then we had, years later being Bobby Brown,
Yeah.
which
That was around the same time, I think.
I think being Bobby
Wasn't
Brown
it
was
a
a
little
little bit later. It was a
A
little
little
bit. It came after. Yeah, it was an after. Yeah.
While very entertaining, there was a train wreck element to it.
Yes, it
Was
was.
not which when you think about it was not entertaining, but it wasn't. Obviously it was probably. I submit it was the best reality TV show.
Agreed.
Period.
Agreed. Better
Yeah.
than anything I had ever seen.
Yes.
And we talked that would be office talk the next day. Did you see Being Bobby Brown last night?
Yeah.
Yes,
Because I
ma'am.
feel like a
Very
lot of these
train wreck.
reality shows are more staged, and I don't think that was
No.
like
No.
that. I
That-
think that's why it was such good reality TV.
Yeah.
Like they took it like it was real. Like they didn't understand like what
You're supposed to filter it.
like they
They
didn't
didn't
get
filter
it.
it.
There was no
didn't get it.
filtering.
They
That's
didn't
just
get it.
great.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
There
didn't
was no
understand.
filter.
It
What
was the
about
realest reality show.
It really-
Yes, there was no acting.
No,
No.
no acting.
no staged, nothing. We're gonna
yes, that
record this.
in the
I'll never
lobby.
forget when the carolers came to the house.
I think my favorite one was when she went to get him out of the dancing in the foyer.
And like I root for Bobby Brown all damn day, fucking day, every day. And it was just like I don't, it's a train. This is a train wreck.
It's not gonna
And
end well.
you kind of want more. You wanted more for the both of them, but it
Yeah.
was highly entertaining, guys.
When
Like,
she drove that
you
Porsche
get out there,
Cayenne
I'm
into
just
the
like,
forest, and she said, "The forest is over,
it's
Bobby.
over. Woo! The forest is over.
Time for you to get out of these woods and come home." And he had to leave too. The other guys were like, "Well, I guess we're packing up. Whitney's here."
The forest is over.
But let's talk about Wendy.
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about Wendy because there were a lot of things that we learned about her life. A lot of themes that she explored, a lot of things that we got to see her unpack and be vulnerable with.
Yeah.
I know that we talked, and Melly, you had said that you saw like accountability as like a big deal.
In the sense that she has spent her entire career talking about everybody, talking about everybody's personal stuff, whether we should have known that stuff or not, right? She was just sharing everybody's business and not really caring. That's just what she was doing. And I think when she became the hot topic, I think it was like, you know what? I've been doing this all my life. Now it's my turn to do it to myself. And I think that took a lot of guts because it was what she was going through was very hurtful. And you can see it in the documentary that she still is hurting from that.
Mhm.
And for her to have to go out on that stage into a live audience, right? Because now she's not even on the radio anymore. Now she's a live audience and having to share her truths, right? My husband did cheat. He been cheating forever. Now he got this girl pregnant. I was in the safe house in the house, trying to get sober again, like having to really talk about all these things to the world, right? Because she's on a syndicated show, So I think that took a lot of guts on her part. She didn't shy. I know it was probably really hard for her, but she didn't shy away from it. She's like, you know what? It's just I got to do it. Because people are going to be talking about it anyway, so I might as well talk about it myself. I'm the one going through it anyway.
Yeah.
And I think there's also something very powerful about controlling your own narrative. And so if other people are talking about you, you're giving that power away. And whether it's a positive story or not, if you're the one to put it out, one, you disarm all of those people who are seeking to cause you harm, but also you are reaffirming your own agency. And I think that's what's beautiful about what she did. You know, even, you know, what a mess, right? Even with all the messiness and everything that happened, it's like, well, it's my story and I'm going to tell it. I'm not going to let anybody else make money, capitalize off me, right? We talked the other week about Ma Rainey and her knowing her value. Wendy's not going to ever get Ma Rainey. That's one thing that's not going to happen.
Is that a thing? Getting Ma Rainey?
It is.
Okay.
That's a new thing. You're not about to Ma Rainey me up in these salary negotiations, right? You're not about to Ma Rainey me over this. Yes, Ma Rainey. Yep.
Ma Rainey up in here, like. Love it. No, but you're right. It's what is it? The truth shall set you free. Your truth. If you tell your truth, like there's nothing people can do with it.
You know, can't use it against you.
It's like that as well. Like Oprah told you everything, right? She literally told you about her mom. She told you about her everything. So you can't run up on me with your stories or whatever, but this is my truth. So those are lessons. Those are good tools to use and have as you navigate, you know, public life, I think.
Yeah.
Tell the truth.
But it's incredibly difficult. Go ahead, Danny.
I was gonna say, well, I feel like she was kind of prepared for that, dealing with that kind of tough situation, in a way from what she dealt with as a child. So, like from being a kid, from like everything you saw in the, you saw it a little in the film, but then you got to hear her and her parents talk about how they were so on her about her weight from such a young age. Like, they obviously like they still don't understand what her mom is gone, but like they still don't understand that what they did was wrong. Like to be on how do you put a first grader on a diet like that?
And like a nasty diet.
Right, that kind of
diet.
Not
even tasty.
Not tasty, not nutritious.
So the harping on her weight, like the harping on it, like,
and that affected her forever. Like that's still affecting her.
Still affecting her.
And so I saw a little bit of that residual, and I look back at the photos that they were showing. Like I don't feel like she was ever big. I don't feel like
a tall
I
girl.
think she was
tall. I feel like everything was like beautifully proportionate to her. But even like, and we talk about, folks getting addicted to plastic surgery. Like, I feel like she has she's not pleased with the person that she sees in the mirror every day. And so she keeps trying to make these adjustments, and she's not healing the wound that, to Danny's point, her parents inflicted on her, in kindergarten.
Isn't it funny? Like nobody told you to go in there and create her. You created her and came out with a big girl.
But she doesn't have a job. She's not going out to buy this food and these snacks on her own. Like if a child is overweight at 5 years old, 6 years old, if you think she's overweight, that's not her issue. That's your issue as the parent.
Exactly.
Don't you dare shame that baby because you buying ho-hos and Twinkies.
I see it.
Remember, they were accusing the brother of like sneaking her stuff. Well,
where'd he get it from?
It's still there.
He's younger than her.
To the store, right? He ain't go to the store and buy it for her.
Does he have a job? Is child labor laws not accurate in the 70s?
Like even though she had siblings, I felt like she was an only child. I don't know if like that's
she seemed very lonely. Like it's like a life of loneliness.
Maybe it's that middle child thing. I don't know anything about it, but they say it's a thing.
Yeah, it's a middle child thing.
Technically, I'm a middle child, but I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't know, but it felt like a only child existence, especially like the
Mm-hmm.
with the radio and
But remember, she said she used to make her brother do it with
To
her.
make her do it with, yeah.
with her. Yeah.
But she also said that she thinks that that's the thing that makes her special was that she's her own best friend. And throughout all of this, I don't know if you all noticed, and this just dawned on me just now, but we didn't see a lot of female companionship. She never talked about like having a bestie or hanging out with her girlfriends. Like I think I saw on social media one day, like she was hanging out with Nene Leakes, and I'm like, are they really like
They
I don't
not
know that she has
now,
any
especially
close, meaningful relationships.
I remember there was only one woman that was in
in-
on the documentary. So if
Mhm.
like maybe that is her only friend, I don't.
Yeah, but it's like she's isolated.
I wonder what that is.
I think that part of it, I don't know with the growing up part, but maybe when I know that Charlemagne brings this up on why their friendship had ended or whatever, it was because of Kevin.
I was going to say
Because
it
of the
has
husband.
something to do with that.
So he says that all the time. He's like, I didn't fuck with Wendy because of Kevin. Like that's his whole once the two of them once she filed for the divorce or whatever, then that's when they reconnected.
Yep.
But the reason they had stopped speaking was because of Kevin.
Yep.
So I
That's
wonder
interesting.
if he. And then I don't know if maybe he didn't want her around people because I feel like I don't think he wanted to kind of keep her to yourself, like wanted to keep him to herself.
Maybe
but
like a control type of thing.
To control her, because at the same time, he probably didn't want friends in her ear talking about you need to leave him. He ain't, you know how it is sometimes with he probably didn't want anybody telling her what she should do as it pertains to what he was doing. He done went and got a whole apartment when their son was born. Like he just got a whole nother place just to be at,
Yeah.
And I think that he might have played a role, at least later on in life, with her not being able to establish friendships with people. And if she didn't have friends growing up, that's kind of a hard skill, right? Like if you don't know how to socialize with people, if you don't know how to make friends, then if you couldn't do it as a child, right? And you have
So
all this
hard
stuff
as an
going
adult.
home, imagine as an adult, because as a child you tend to be more trusting with people, right?
I was going to say it's hard. I think it's harder as an adult. Yeah.
But it's as an adult, your trust levels really decline the older you get, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I don't know if it was just something that she just, probably struggled with and then continued to struggle with for a number of reasons.
I also wonder if it's difficult for others to trust her just because of her line of work. Someone who's known to be a gossip and tell everybody's business. Like,
Right.
I mean, I could be a non-celebrity, but do I really trust you with my deepest, darkest secrets if I know that your job is to out people's deepest, darkest secrets?
That's a good point.
That's a good point also.
It might make adulthood relationships a little difficult.
Her phrase, one of her biggest phrases that was so funny, friend in my head. I feel like she's a friend in my head.
I still say that to this day.
I still say that.
I have lots of friends in my head. You can't tell me that me and Jada Pinkett Smith are not cool.
Yeah, friends.
Oh my gosh.
On Insecure, Natasha Rothwell, they're all my friends.
Like I feel like me and Jada in a room with Gammy, like it would be everything. Like that is my friend.
It would be everything.
Love
Gammy is very.
Gammy is.
Gammy.
I love Gammy.
I follow her on Instagram.
She don't fall for none of it.
She outed somebody's sweet potato pie, talking about this pie is too light and fluffy. I know this is not homemade. Do better. Talk about this supposed to be a black-owned place. Y'all do better with y'all sweet potato pie.
No, that's right. Tell them. Don't be messing up those sweet potato pie.
Gammy.
In terms of relationships, like you guys talked about, everybody knows in therapy, right? If you get past week 2, y'all getting into the what happened with you and your parents, like those parental relations. Like, oh, tell me about
because those are your first relationships.
They
that's where your trust gets established. How you view yourself. because it's a lot of how you're spoken to and what
Mm.
you're
You
told you
dealt.
are or are not.
Mm.
Oh, like
All
it's
that.
every like I know parents don't like to think that they're responsible, but you
Listen,
kind of are.
I just had that
You are.
conversation the other, like recently. I said, with my kids, right? I have decisions to make, right? And either way, there's this very real possibility that what I do is gonna mess them up.
And it's not mess. I don't
They'll
know.
be in
It
therapy
can.
somewhere talking about something that I did
Correct.
that causes them to not be able to function as adults.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I'm
just
gonna
part
have
of the
It's
game.
gonna
wounds.
happen.
And
Yes.
so with Wendy, I feel like her parents, it if you had to like skinny it down to like, okay, what's the issue? I feel like she did not feel safe with her. Like they didn't make her feel secure. And that was the glue that held her, like that codependency that she had, that she and Kevin had with one another in their relationship. I feel like she didn't feel safe in her home. And Kevin was the person who provided that for her.
And it's funny that you say the word safe, because there were instances where she would mention he rescued me or he came to my rescue. Like when the Total Girls showed up, he came to my rescue. When she passed out, he came down there and carried me out. Like I feel like that's the image that she had of him. Like he was saving her. Like, that's makes a lot of sense that she would speak about him that way.
Mhm.
know
And then people who gravitate to others who need to be saved, right? That whole savior identity, protector identity becomes who you are, right?
Mhm.
And so when she got to the level where she no longer really needed saving, right? She said she wasn't using anymore, right? She wasn't a substance abuser, right? She had a baby successfully, right? So now she has a child. And so all of her adversity and the things that he was saving her from or being there, they were no longer present. So he couldn't he didn't have utility in that relationship. He wants to save and protect people. And she didn't need that anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And
No.
then she had some questions about her womanhood after that, right? Or
Yeah.
before that.
Before that, when she had
Definitely when she was having the miscarriages.
Miscarriage. Yeah. Not being able to we link our value to, or our worth to, what we can produce,
Mhm.
which is, hey, that's not healthy, that's toxic, because your value is linked to just your breathing,
Mhm.
your presence on the planet. And she just, her worth, her value, she didn't feel like she was an actual, woman, which is unfortunate. We all have, we definitely, I know for myself, I linked my value to, how far I could progress on my job, right? Or the things that I could do, and that's not your worth. You got to figure out. It's always like a re-evaluating of things once you know what's healthier for you.
I
It's
was gonna,
yeah,
I agree. 'Cause I was gonna say, I think and I'm sure we've all been there. We associate our value with what other people think of us instead of what we think of us.
mm-hmm.
So my value is not about what other people can see that I've done or that I am, but it's about what I see and how I feel. So if I feel good, then I'm good. It doesn't matter what I'm doing or what I have done and haven't done. So I
Correct.
think we have to come to a point where we look at our self-worth and self-value and turn it in towards just us. And it's not about anybody else.
Man,
A whole word.
that's a whole word. If you can learn that in your 20s, you're
Oh,
set.
please.
Like
That would be great. That would be great.
Seriously.
And that's the
Seriously.
key. The sooner you find that out, the
Yes.
easier things become. And I think that because we have a hard time getting there, right? We have a hard time but the sooner you find that out, Life is
Now,
just
do
a
you
little.
ladies think that's something that's uniquely female?
No, because it's production. It's production. It all like boils down, and that and production is again like you're outside, you're what you're either doing or what you have or what you appear to. So no, it just affects men and women a little bit differently.
I was gonna
Mm,
say it's the way it affects us may be different.
Yeah,
mm,
but I do think I think it's an American thing.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And y'all know
it's
that I'm all about this Bell Hooks book. And what Danny said is exactly, guys, listen out there,
I gotta
listeners,
get this book, huh?
y'all have to go out and get Bell Hooks. And it's an old book. If you've read it, I'm sorry, but it's new to me. I think it came out in the early 2000s. I think the publishing was like 2001. But she
oh,
talks about the whole idea of women specifically being socialized to define love from external things and love as something that we have to earn as opposed to something that we are entitled to. And
mm,
so we spend our lives trying to earn the love of someone else as opposed to loving ourselves. And then that's how we end up in all of these conundrums, right? We
mhm,
and Wendy, I think to some degree, because of her experience with her parents growing up, felt that she needed to be worthy. And for whatever reason, she placed a lot of her value on her ability, to Sharice's point, to reproduce.
mm,
But this whole idea of producing something. And then we have politics that want to control that, right? Because in a capitalist society, how dare you give someone else the power of production? That production has to be part of the system and part of the machine. So this is all like the circular stuff that's working to our detriment. And that's why I wondered, like, if you thought it was something that was inherently female, but I could see it from a male perspective as well.
like just ambition, just like I think Madonna. I don't know why Madonna came to mind, but she said this thing once about people critiquing her work, and she would remember, it'd be 100 people in the room, 99 people would say it's amazing, but it would be just that one person who says it's not, and she's fixated on that
The
one
one.
person, like trying to change and trying to figure out why people don't love me.
Mm.
And that comes from childhood, like everything stems from
Hmm.
like it
From
just,
childhood.
I don't know, like it just does. And like if you think about just people who are ambitious, or people who at the end of it, if you're an entertainer, you're entertaining because you don't entertain just to be entertaining. You applause, adulation,
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
feedback,
mm-hmm.
you
Acceptance.
know
Just a whole
it,
bunch of stuff.
it's a whole bunch of things. So
Mm-hmm.
it's that people are just out there trying to fix their childhood wounds and
Exactly. Yeah.
For
Yeah.
the
You
rest of
have
your
to,
life.
you
for the
spend
rest
your
of my life.
adulthood trying to reparent yourself and
That's it.
undo all of those things, right? You're reparenting yourself and hoping you don't pass the stuff on to the kids that you do have, because
Correct.
and so hopefully folks are more mindful and more reflective.
Yeah.
But I don't, unfortunately, I don't think her parents ever got it,
Got
because
it.
even as, I mean, when was this film, Melly? Last year,
Last
2019?
2019,
Still talking about how she was
2019.
chubby. She always had a problem with her
And
weight.
Wendy was
Laughing.
in,
Uh-huh.
and here she is on
never,
the
That's why
couch
she's the
sobbing her
superstar
eyes
she
out.
is
they
now.
never took accountability for the things that they did to her.
Yeah.
Because I
They
don't
can't
think they
take
realized
accountability
it.
because they don't know
They
they was
don't
wrong.
realize it, right? They never realized it, and I think that
To their defense,
You're
they,
defending them.
it
they
was
were
very
oblivious
common.
to all of it.
It's very like it
It
was
was very common
very
in that
like,
time. You think
oh
70s,
my god,
80s?
70s and 80s. Come on,
Yeah.
come
I mean,
on. Like, nobody thought about what they said to you.
you
Like,
That's
also
true.
feel like, but
You're
here's
right.
the thing. Here's the thing. Because I also think about how how being picked on and being bullied back then, right? Like in the 80s, where like when this was happening to you, it wasn't a big deal, or they didn't make it a big deal.
Well,
But
no one
now,
thought about it.
But
there's
I
no way-
feel like it was
like
a big deal.
But I don't think they made it a big deal like they do now, especially.
Oh no, not the establishment. The establishment didn't make it a big deal, but it was a big deal. I remember
to the person getting bullied or whatever.
what grade was that? 5th grade. Stand By Me came out. And this still sits with me. And I'm still like, I never got over it, right? 5th grade, Stand By Me came out. Bear with me. And you remember it was like a story that they were telling about Lardass and the pie eating contest,
There you go.
right? As soon as that film came out, there were a group of girls who decided that they were going to call me Lardass. And that was my name for like a full, like, 3 months of my life until like it kind of wore off. And like I wasn't even a big kid, but I always had like booty. Like I can't do anything about my booty. It's in the genetics, right? But like that was a thing for me. And so I became like incredibly self-conscious at that. And I was like 10, right? That's the worst time for that to even happen, right?
Yeah.
And those kinds of things they stuck and they happened. But to your point, like no one was there to rescue. You know? You know?
And guess
No
what,
one was
Talia?
gonna rescue you because
People are paying
from your
good
own
money to try to
family.
get a butt like that. So
Exactly.
It's
Well,
funny.
yeah. Now
you
you
heard
know.
me? People are paying
they
good
pay a
money
lot of
now.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get those booties. But I feel like no one is protecting you because the people who are supposed to protect you are the ones who are saying it to you at sometimes also. Like I
Yeah,
remember
no.
growing up, I was always called flaca, 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 like skinny, right? You're so skinny. You're so skinny. So she doesn't eat. She doesn't eat. She doesn't eat. Whatever. So I would go to the lake or I would go to the beach, Hopatcong Lake. I know people know about Hopatcong Lake over here in Jersey. But we would
Make a pack on.
Hopatcong Lake. Let's go pack on. Hopatcong Lake.
I can't stand it. Hopatcong Lake. And then
Make a pack on.
Lake
I have
Hopatcong.
turned.
Lake
Listen.
Hopatcong.
I am slowly turning into my mother. Like she changes everything's name. So I just think it's getting worse the older I get. So Lake Hopatcong or Hopatcong Lake.
No, stop saying that. I need you to stop immediately.
Make a pack on.
Who?
My mom. He does it all the time. Oh, shoot.
Pull it together, Melly.
I can't get it together.
All right, well, you want to know about the second time I met Wendy Williams?
Listen, I stopped. Y'all know what we were talking about earlier. I still calling White Castle with ass.
It is not White Castles.
It is. That's
One
always
castle.
Not White Castles.
One
There's
castle and it
no
begins to
apostrophe.
know.
Yes,
Bro,
it
you
is.
One
scribble
castle.
S's into store titles.
McCory's. I mean, I feel like that's what it is.
Stories. Caldor.
Well, I think everyone was upset about Caldors.
Caldor. It's you sure it's not?
It was Caldor. I promise.
Outdoor. There's no S at the end.
Olive Garden.
Danielle is the only one that does not put S's in places where they don't belong. Whatever.
Who in their right mind would say Red Lobster? It's Red Lobsters. It is the Red Lobsters.
Wait,
It's the Red Lobsters.
this is why we can't ever get this stuff because now I'm Googling because I feel like I'm saying, okay, no, that does have an S. I'm good. Okay. No, I just wanted to confirm because I've been saying a lot of things.
Nordstrom's. It's not Nordstrom's.
Nordstrom's
y'all.
has an S. I
It's
don't care what.
It's not.
There's no S on Nordstrom's. We say Nordstrom's, but it's not.
It is
There's no
Nordstrom.
S there.
I'm going to
You know
Nordstrom.
what's great about Publix is that it's Publix.
Publix. So
And
they knew.
So we
That's our
don't
place.
need.
It makes a
We don't need to put an S.
Any place that has an S, they understand us. Those are our people, right? McDonald's, they know. McDonald's knows, right?
They know
Roy
Burger
Rogers. Roy Rogers knows.
Popeyes.
Popeyes, they know, right? They understand.
White
How
Castle
did we get here?
does not know.
How did
I
we
don't know. I was
get
trying
JC Penney's
It's like
doesn't get us. JC Penney's doesn't get us.
here? It's
Is
not
it
JC.
I'm mad that it's not JC Penney's. Because I felt like all my life that's
They
what
don't
it
get
was.
us.
It's JC Penney.
If they knew what
It's
was good for
not.
them, they put
I
it an
don't care what
apostrophe S.
JC Penney's say. It's JC Penney's. I don't care what their name trademark says. But I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. Where was going?
Teresa was
Wendy
going to tell us
Williams.
about her
We're talking
second
about the
Wendy
lake.
interview.
Wendy
Oh,
Williams.
because I was talking about
Oh,
Lake
Lake Pacon, Flocka.
Capricorn Lake. But
Yeah.
I was saying how like my family like skinny, like oh so like I skinny shit on you. But then I grew up going to these places and I would wear a t-shirt with my bathing suit and I wouldn't take the t-shirt off. And everybody's in their bathing suit and I'm like, I'm just gonna keep this t-shirt on to go in this lake, to go in this beach, you know, just with this shirt. And my mom was like, take that off, it's hot. And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna keep this t-shirt on.
Well, to
See
speak
how it
to,
works both ways.
to what Celia was saying, people are obsessed with conformity,
Mhm.
right? And it's like you can try to put people in boxes and stuff, but like at the end of the day, people are who they are. He's skinny, she's fat, she's brown, she's white. Like it doesn't, like people just are what they are, and it's like you can't keep trying to make there's something maybe in your mind that has you insecure about what what you are. Like if we're not the perfect family, if I have one kid that's fat, or we're not it's everything is not a reflection on you personally, and we just internalize everything, and we put shit on our kids that like they're not even thinking about,
or they're not even prepared to handle. And the crazy part now that I think about it with Wendy, she wouldn't conform in the sense of how she acted, right? She was going to do what she was going to do, but she would conform in what she looked like.
And that's where
like, you know, that's kind of, you know, sad in a way, because, and again, it stems from growing up. It stems from not having that self-love and for what she looked like, you know.
And we all have our shit.
And it's funny, another thing she brought up, I'm sorry, we got a little one more thing I wanted to bring up, because I think she brought this up a couple times. She said she never wanted to didn't want to disappoint. That's the story of my life. And I think that she was trying to make that marriage work because of the people on the outside looking, right? Like I want it to look like I have this perfect marriage. I want it to look like everything is perfect. And I think she even made a mention of like her family looked perfect, right? From the outside, her parents, whatever, nice home, they grew up in a nice neighborhood, whatever the case may be. But she said that when she passed out on the show, she came back out and finished the show. And she said she didn't want to disappoint. And I'm like, that's like a heavy like burden to carry your whole life. Like that idea of not wanting to disappoint. Like that's gotta be what's the word? Like that's a lot. Like it's just a lot for a person to have to handle. And I feel like she didn't have, you know, unfortunately she didn't have like the support systems in play. She didn't have the people that she could turn to for whatever reason that may have been.
But I'm
glad she's doing better.
The amazing thing is that she's a capable, amazing, professional, career woman, who through all of that never lost sight of her dream that she had as a kid, which is amazing. And despite everything that she's been through, she's a strong lady. Like it's, we're all gonna have our stuff. If you have a dream or whatever, it's just very inspirational to be able to.
And that's what her friend says in the show too. Her friend talks about like having that dream and how she chased that dream of no matter what obstacle was in her way. And I was happy to see, that she is doing better now, that she finally was able to separate herself from that situation.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't easy, but at least she did.
So this is the Wendy Williams What a Mess documentary, and then also Wendy Williams the movie. I believe you can catch it on Lifetime, the Lifetime channel. So I would recommend that have folks check it out. What do you ladies think?
I would
Recommend?
also recommend. I would recommend. It's very entertaining or whatever. But I would
Mhm.
also recommend go on YouTube and pull up some of her old stuff.
Oh
Because like
yeah.
to me, Radio Wendy is the best Wendy.
Yeah.
And she was
That was
like in her
prime Wendy too,
prime.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Because
and
I think on TV she had to be a little more, not too much, but a little more reserved, right? On the radio she was a little more.
it just the down home Jersey,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
every Jersey.
Yes.
Ocean Township, Wendy
Yeah.
Williams is on the radio. That's the one that,
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're looking for a place to start, definitely start with that Whitney Houston interview.
yeah.
The Mariah
Go to
Carey,
that.
Judge
Oh,
Mathis. Judge Mathis was
the
hilarious. That was a
Kanye,
good one.
Charlemagne just posted the Kanye one.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Check it
Mhm.
out. Yep.
Yep.
But ladies, I think we need to move over to Versus.
Yes.
And I think we're gonna do a
Always
soft toss
looking
to Danny because she got some stuff for us today.
I do. So,
Always have to lay back and
why you lay back? You all
Get
right,
ready.
Melly?
We gotta
Okay,
stretch out and get ready for Versus. Woo!
Here
Oh.
we go.
it's not
Sitting
a
on a couple
physical
of things over
preparation, it's
here.
a mental one.
I'm sitting on a couple
Sometimes
of things.
mental preparation is harder than anything physical.
Are you stretching?
I am stretching.
I'm just
Get
mental.
loose.
All right. So, I am going to start with, and I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with him or I'm going to do two separate artists.
Him.
But I'm going to start with Music Soul Child.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's start with Music Soul Child, okay? And my first song is Just Friends.
I know.
That is my first song. I love the intro to that song. What? So is everybody with me on that first one?
Yep.
All right. The second one, similar theme, different album, is Buddy, my buddy. Buddy.
Ah.
I was like, it's kind of like a similar theme in both songs. The music is different, but where will we go, ladies?
Well, Buddy is like a takeoff from the Buddy De La Soul and Tribe Called Quest, right? That Buddy.
Buddy told us all to get into a circle. Said
Go,
don't worry
yeah.
because I won't hurt you.
Won't hurt you.
All I really want to do is freak you.
freak
You know
you.
what? She
You know what?
freaked
She
us.
freaked us. And Queen Latifah was on that remix.
Yes, she
Remember?
was. I mean,
Remember?
say what?
Say what? Say what? So we have that version of Buddy. I'm gonna say Just Friends because we had the original Buddy, whatever. So I'm gonna go with
Yeah. I'm gonna agree, not for the same reasons, but that song, it was just when that song came out, I feel like it was so fresh and new, and we were on that whole kick of like just a different kind. I feel like there was a transformation happening at that time, with music and with R&B, and like that whole group of people coming out, like the Philly scene, right? Soul Child's from Philly, yes, right. So we had him, we had Bilal, we had the Roots, we had Jill Scott, right? That whole like neo soul movement. So yeah, that was a good one, man. I'm not trying to pressure you. Just can't stop thinking about
It's that little intro.
I love that whole song. Melly, you going with the same one?
I'm going with the same one, yeah.
All right, so we are unanimous because I am also going with Just Friends.
Unanimous.
Unanimous. We don't get that often.
We don't get that often with this group.
Oh, and you know what, Danny? You know what I want to tell the folks too, because I never mentioned this, but we've started a playlist of these Versus songs on Spotify. So if you want to look it up, it's under our tag, but it's the Versus playlist. So we're keeping track of this, so y'all can go do that too. Sorry, go on, Danny. I see one.
So I am going to actually switch artists. I have a list of things here. So as I was riding in the car, I'm like, "Ooh, let's look at them." So I am going to take us back
way back into time.
To the group
What we gonna do right now?
Midnight Star.
Oh,
Nice
you
song.
going
we're
back
going
like
back.
that?
I'm going back like that. Midnight Star. And the first song is Curious.
Curious about nothing.
That's the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And the second
Know
song.
what's on your mind.
That's the one that came on in the car. And I was like, I texted her. I was like, I got it. I know what I'm doing.
Listening to that came on. What you was listening?
I listen to Satellite in the car because I need to be
okay.
careful about what comes on when the kids are in the car. So, is Midas Touch. All right, guys. So the second song is Midas Touch.
Ah,
I got
the
the
Midas
Midas touch. Everything I touch.
Are you body rolling?
that is
You
a
have
body
to.
roll song.
80
The
songs.
Midas
80
touch.
songs is like a requirement.
Touch
I
your
don't know what
body.
it is
your
about all that.
soul.
You got a body roll to it?
You
have
got to.
It does feel good with it.
Midas touch. I'm gonna go with Curious. I'm curious.
The beat of Curious. I thought you were gonna do it. Aren't they the ones who sing the other song?
What's on your mind?
I had another song in mind. But
What was it? Tell me.
Wet My Whistle.
Yes, that's my
I would go with wet. I would go with wet.
That's why I didn't put it in because I was like, no, everybody's gonna pick Wet My Whistle.
Because I'm hooked, baby.
My
You're not putting it
Love, just because I just had to wet my whistle.
That's why I didn't put that one in because I'm like, everybody's gonna pick that one.
Be my baby, yeah.
Wet my whistle.
What year? Oh, you want to say
Oh, that's my
I wanna
stuff.
know.
Okay, I'm gonna go
You
with.
said what
Say
year? These are from the
something.
80s, probably like 83, 84.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what
know.
I'm saying. Probably songs we weren't supposed to be singing.
What's
Well,
what?
we didn't know what wet and whistle and juicy fruits was.
What were
We
they
was just
smoking? Wet my whistle.
You can't tell me.
Like I'm gonna come out with this metaphor is gonna hit. Wet my whistle.
I tell you what, Sharice, I bet you if we got in the lab and wrote a wet my whistle, it would be like soaring on the chart.
It would be amazing.
Come up with
And
any
it was
metaphor.
amazing.
Yeah, it was.
It
We
was
need to
good.
bring that
and it was
back.
good.
We need to bring that back so that
Metaphor
kids
songs.
can listen to music again. Metaphors. We've
Because
lost the
I
art of it.
say, wet my whistle wins. I
But she
pick
said
wet
that's
my
why
whistle.
That's not one of the
It's not
songs.
part of the
I'm
verses.
picking it.
It's-
But that's why
it's
I'm
not part
picking
of
it.
the verses. It's
But
not
that's
a good-
why I'm picking it.
It's not an option.
No, she said no.
No, but that's why I'm
Option.
picking it.
No, but
Midas Touch or Curious.
she said you can't
I already
have
went
it your way.
I'm curious
Yeah.
about your loving. I'm curious.
Didn't
I want to know what's on your mind.
didn't LSG remake that? Remember Levert, Sweat, and Gill had a
Ooh, they
had a
might.
group?
Yeah, I
they
do remember
redid
that.
it. I
Yes.
think they did a remake of that song. What
And
happened
did
to that group?
Well, Levert died.
But not during the group.
That was
time.
not during the
He
group.
was very well alive.
He
during
did
that
pass away.
He did, but not during that time.
So that's what happened.
that wasn't the reason the group stopped singing.
Right.
I feel
Okay.
like they just had like a one album contract or something, and they just did it. Like I need to check. Let's get a group together.
I
We
just
should
think
do-
Johnny wanted to just be in groups because
Johnny keeps a check. Listen,
he
Exactly.
does keep a check.
Johnny-
However, he got to do it.
yo,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, my cousin. This was like maybe 2 or 3 Valentine's days ago. It was a snowstorm and everything, and my cousin had given us tickets to go see. It was like and every like it was like where my 50 and over crew at, and we sitting there like, this is not our scene, right? But in any case, it was Johnny Gill. It was After 7.
Oh,
Uh,
but I know you got up for After 7 because
Kim.
After 7 slays.
Kim is
I don't
amazing.
care who you
This was
are.
down in Atlantic
what
City.
Him
age.
is amazing.
And Kim. So it was, and so Avant was supposed to be there, but so Johnny Gill was the fill-in for Avant. And Sharice, you know how I feel about y'all know how I feel about Johnny Gill. And I'm like, oh Lord. But he was so entertaining. And it was Valentine's Day. This fool was handing out like little teddy bears in the crowd, and the ladies were going crazy. Oh, Johnny, can I have a bear? I have a bear.
This is how I know I had to have gone to see New Edition with you when they did something, because he came out and he was on the stairs and he was doing some gyrating or something.
He's interested.
Something extra.
And y'all were so
he has to do the most to get you know what I mean? Like nobody else has to do the most.
So what I learned in talking to my cousin, shout out to Shelly. What I learned through talking to my cousin is that Johnny Gill was actually a come up for New Edition in the older women market.
Yes, they were. I will say that the audience changes.
Yeah, she said that. And she said she never had any interest in going to see New Edition, but my cousin Naya, her sister, and her friends wanted to go see. And when she found out that Johnny Gill was going to be there, she got excited because she's like, "Oh, I'm going to see Johnny Gill. I can check this out." No, thank you, sir. I'm not interested in Johnny Gill. You could just go on. Bring us Bobby back.
I think the younger fan base for New Edition was really appalled.
We were.
Yes.
I think we were all taken aback. I loved the vocal mix that he brought in, but all that whatever you're doing, like it's not
you
gonna
need to
work.
stay in your lane.
Gyrating.
Yeah,
like read the room, sir, and no, thank you. And Ralph is the lead singer, not you. You're not the lead singer. Never happened. Never will be.
And this is just how we feel.
Yes.
This is how, as a younger, I'm talking about the younger New Edition fan base. This is just what we feel.
Yep. Poll the audience. We'll all feel the same way. Did we choose a song?
Sharice did.
I did.
Wet my whistle.
No, Sharice said Curious.
I said Curious.
Wet my whistle.
Did something that you chose?
I'm saying Curious, yeah.
Oh, we are unanimous again. I would go with Curious.
Yes.
No, Wet My Whistle, I was like, I couldn't put that in there.
I mean, it
shuts
it
everything
else all down.
Midnight Star sing.
Yeah.
What else did they sing? It was Wet My Whistle, Midas Touch. Were they the one that sang Roses Are Red, Violets Are Blue?
Roses are red.
Was that them too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because they did
No.
that. And Violets Are
Did they
Blue.
do that?
I don't know if that's them.
What I'm thinking of.
Somebody look it up.
I love
I'm looking it up now.
Are you looking it up too?
I love you.
Roses are red. Roses are red.
I think that was them.
The
Baby.
80s was
Is that the name of the song?
I don't know if that's the name.
What's that?
I don't know if that's the name of the song.
Roses are red, violets are blue.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the name of the song though, because it's not coming up
No.
under anybody familiar.
Come on.
Nah,
You
come
try.
No, get out of here.
And y'all want to talk about me changing names of songs?
It's called Red Rose.
No,
I don't
it's
know.
not called Red
Midnight
Rose.
That's not it. I know
Midnight
you
Star
Googled
have
it.
2 auras.
Put it in.
Who says aura?
Put it in. What's the sound? Soundhound. Hold on.
Yes, it's called Red Roses.
Is it called Red Rose?
It's called Red Roses.
And who sings it?
Midnight Star.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just not called Roses Are Red. That's why it wouldn't come up. Okay.
Listen, Danny, potato,
It
R&D.
This Red Roses didn't sound like what y'all were singing.
Roses are red.
And violets are blue.
Ooh,
It
Baby.
didn't sound like what y'all singing.
you're the only one I'm thinking of.
I don't think you said
I
it.
love you.
I think y'all. No.
Love the
That's not
80s.
it. That's not
That's
it.
definitely a song though. What we're singing is a song.
This is
So maybe
this
it's
is a
not
slow
them.
jam. This
Oh
is
no, it's not a slow jam.
No, I said
It's
it
the
don't
one
sound
that
like-
I'm singing.
No, yeah, but that's
I gotta find. Now you're gonna make me have
Singing.
to find it.
Everybody had a song like that
Yeah.
in the 80s. Steady, steady.
Steady rocking all night.
That's essentially the same song.
Do you remember? Oh, it was the Mac Band. The Mac Band. That's who sang that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and it is called
Right.
Roses Are Red.
Yeah,
Yep.
the Mac band. That's the one.
There
I'm
we
thinking
go.
of. Yeah. Yeah, but
Essentially,
the
every
whispers
group-
always freaked me out because the
Why?
twins scared me, and I ran into
They
them
were
at
amazing.
the LA
Tia
airport.
doesn't like twins.
It's
The
not that
identicals.
I'm
Identical twins freak you out.
I'm concerned about what they're doing with their minds. But
They're doing something.
Hey, they have a really cool documentary. Oh no, not a documentary, a movie about the twin. Y'all know these like British black twins, these ladies that did all this psychotic stuff. Like it's crazy. I don't know
What's
their
wrong with these
name.
crazy
Why I feel like I know this. Why I feel like I know this.
It's not a
Tell me what you're
documentary
talking
that's coming out, but it's a movie coming out.
Uh-huh.
And I forget who's playing the twins. It might be Lupita Nyong'o.
Lupita
It's
can do some creepy
Somebody.
stuff.
Lupita's good.
Lupita. I can't wait for her to play Trevor Noah's mom in his book, Born to
Oh, are they
Crime.
making a film of Born to Crime?
Yeah, she's gonna-
I
yep,
wanna. I'll go just to see that. I hope they do the scene where he.
she's gonna be the mom.
Because that's the funniest thing. When he was little and didn't want to go to the outhouse, and they thought somebody put a spell on the house. Like I laugh till I cry every time I hear that chapter.
Very funny book, Born to Crime.
All right, so ladies, we have to wrap up for the day.
Yeah, Sharice, you got
All
something
right.
you want to tell the people, Sharice?
Steady, steady rocking all night long. Anyway, hey guys. Just continue to watch the show, listen to the show. We're really just super happy that you guys are really involved and just excited about it. So thank you. Don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe, all those good things. And, check us out on YouTube. Every week, everything gets better and better and better. And we add more surprises and more things. So I'm just super excited. And thank you. Yeah, we'll go ahead and see you next week, if you don't mind.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye. Wet my whistle.